Hello, everyone. Hola, mundo. Welcome to VOCES PODEROSAS 2024. This is the first time we are in person having our podcast, which we call our shortcast, and with none other than Claudia Romo Edelman.
I am so happy to be here with you and to be your first live.
I know. This is amazing to me because this is just like a dream come true. And it's coming true in New Jersey, New York area with the Mujeres Brillantes Awards. This is our 5th annual meeting together. And so I just feel honored, but I want to just ask you some questions that are a little different because we've had you on our shortcast, Voces Poderosas, last year, and you have been just shaking the nation, Claudia. It's amazing what you're doing. Con tanto. There's so much that's going on. And I want to hear a little bit about that before I go into the questions. Why don't you tell us what you're doing? What's your journey looking like this year?
I think that this year we realized that Latinos have understood their size and power more than we did before. And so when you have a community that is enlightened, you can move to the next level, right? It's over like level 1 done, level 2. And the first 5 years of the World Human Foundation through Hispanic Star, we were talking to Latinos, about Latinos, to incentivize and empower Latinos. I think that now it's time to unify our voices so that we together can talk to the entire country about the power of Latinos, change our perception because we know that perception is reality and we need to change our reality so that we can have a better representation. So I think that the next 5 years that we're going to be doing are going to be very, very focused on making sure that everyone in the country knows that Latinos are powerful and one of the most important economic driving forces of America, very centered around Latinas.
Wow, that's powerful. And I am someone to say and testify, Claudia has been in Colorado with us. She has got even the keys to the city of Aurora. Just to let you know, it's been powerful, everything that she's been doing, even her podcast, A La Latina, with her co-host. And it's just something that we want to highlight. Because what you are doing, you're changing the narrative, but you're doing something very powerful, Claudia. You're uniting, but also you are motivating people to want to be united. You are motivating leaders to want to just find themselves and become who they truly are. So in the spirit of where we are right now, in your mission to unify Hispanics, I want to ask you a question. How do you navigate the political diversity within the Latino community, especially among those who may vote differently, yet share the core values that rely on progressing and equity? How do you unify that? What are you doing?
So what we have seen so far, it's never going to change, which is everybody had a taste about the power of Latinos, how powerful we are. In the elections, it was clear. There's no going backwards. People that didn't know or ignore Latinos are always going to pay attention from now on. And what we need to do is wake up and know that these opportunities don't come very often. So we have to unify in how do we take advantage of this moment of attention to Latinos to push our agenda. And we can all have different opinions. We always had. We have a diversity of backgrounds and understandings, and we should continue celebrating our diversity, but unify only about a couple of things. My invitation for everybody is to unify, to make sure that we change our perception so that we can change our representation. So I think that in this moment, let's make sure that we don't lose focus of like little pieces. Let's look at the big picture, which is how are we going to use our voices, regardless of where you're politically or economically or socially, so that we can be sure that everybody in the country knows that Latinos need to be seen and heard and valued.
I love it. Seen, heard, and valued. And I think that if we unify, I believe it with all my heart that we can overcome this narrative that we've had for so many years. So how do you see that unity?
So I think that what we're going to be doing very clear is just focus on how do we invite people to have a shared dream. Let's campaign together. All of us, we can be part of making history for our community. So what we need to do is understand there's already a lot of data. When I started working in this space, there were very little reports out there, and we started doing reports. Now there's plenty of data. So we're going to collect the data, crunch the data, and provide a narrative for everybody that suits every agenda. And wherever you are, whether you're a student, you can talk to people in your school. Whether you're in your company, you can talk about your company. If you're a media organization, if you're talking everywhere, we're going to equip people, and then we're going to activate the channels. The channels, whether are corporate money, marketing, dollars, media organizations, we're going to move art. We're going to move every stone so that everyone becomes a channel, so that we can actually achieve that shared dream, a dream where like we're going to be able to be valued, so that whenever you're getting into a new job, people are saying like, wow, Latinas, of course I know you're the job creator number one in the country. That's a very different perspective than today when you go and ask for a job. There are people are still looking at us with stereotypes, where we ourselves still have that perception that we shouldn't be using our accent because it's negative for us. No, we're going to flip the perception. We're going to flip the script and change the perception, starting internally and then moving towards the entire country for Latinas and for everyone.
I agree. And we are doing it now, and you are doing it. We've been watching you, and we know that you're getting it done. I want to ask you, we know what you're doing, and I love what you're doing. How does Hispanic Star and We're All Human play a part in this?
So what the role that we think that we can play is to shift mindsets, in which we're going to evangelize everybody about how powerful it is when we can move our mindset from scarcity to abundance, when we support each other, when we understand that it is beneficial for everybody to open the door for each other, mentor each other. So we're very focused on shifting mindsets from individual to collective. We're very focused in campaigning and providing everything that is needed, from data collection, narrative creation, and engaging channels. And we're going to make sure that we provide access to power and influence the way that we are able to do it in our own spaces.
That's amazing. And being that you're so positive, and she is amazing at motivating so many people out there. You really are, truly, Claudia. You're doing a great job. What are the challenges that you are finding in the nation? Because you're traveling the nation and you're talking to the most powerful voces poderosas in the nation. So what is that challenge? What is that one thing that you keep hearing that you feel that you might probably strategize on or implement something for it next year?
Make no mistake, I'm very optimistic and absolutely possibilistic that it is possible for us to cross the road and make sure that we're the last generation that is not fully paid, fully respected, and fully seen. But we're at a crossroad right now. And what happened with the election has shaken the unity and the identity of Latinos. And we cannot let that happen, because we cannot let the small pieces distract us. So no one should be questioning your Latinidad, whether it's why did you vote for this person? Why did you take this? Why are you, denying? So no one should, all of us should understand that united we're strong. And therefore, the piece right now that we have to do is understand that we have to go above the clouds, that the quicker we navigate the turbulence, the faster we're going to get to a place in which we can unify in making sure that all of us are part of building a narrative, reframing our story, so that we can be seen as what we are, stars, contributors to the country, positive, shining. America is made of stars, and Hispanics are one of them. What is good for Latinos is good for America. Let's focus on that.
That's great. And you're like that glue that's given that perspective to all of us, because it's great. Glue puts it together, right? We're getting into that. So with your global advocacy background, what lessons from international mobilization do you apply to your work with the Hispanic community in the United States from what you've learned in your life?
So I moved to the States 10 years ago, and that was the first ever time I heard that I was a Hispanic. I was like, why are you calling me Latina? I am a Mexican. What are you talking about? And I kept on actually being exposed to this new community after being 20 years working in Europe, being Mexican, but working in Europe, and understanding how to create social change that is sustainable and big. And the one thing that is clear and consistent through the changes that I saw working at UNICEF, the United Nations, the World Economic Forum, is that you need a plan and a dream that people adhere to. And number two, you need to have that mentality of being possibilistic, thinking that it is possible. When you start with a mentality that is impossible, we wouldn't be fighting AIDS, we wouldn't be fighting poverty or gender equality, but it is possible. So I want everybody to know that we have a plan, which is to adhere to perception and representation, and we need to have a positive mentality to move towards that. And now we have focus, which for me very much lends itself to perception change, but also in gender. And that's why we created A La Latina, The playbook to succeed in your authentic self, understanding that Latinas are the least one, that we need to pay more attention, and that we can succeed, but also succeed without having to bruise ourselves and suppress our Latinidad. So we understand that for Latinas, we need role models, we need navigation skills like a playbook, and we need a network. And that's where we're putting our effort in, making sure that we're inviting everybody to dream on a campaign and changing our perception and focusing on Latinas.
And that's powerful and it's great. And it aligns with tonight, with the Latina track, because it's something that I feel, and we were talking about this earlier, the power of being Latina, the power of just being a person that changes the mindset and believes, right? And believes. And so, as you know, I started this Sharkcast because of my daughter, a young generation, a person who wanted to see and know about Latinas out there, or Latinos that she can look up to and be able to look and see, well, if they can do it, I can do it. Similarly, how I came to Nashimba Prespanica. So what advice would you give that younger generation? I've seen your daughter. You've done such a great job. She's out there, she's speaking, she's vocal. So what advice would you give to someone like my daughter in college?
The time for Latinos is now. And now is the time in which it's possible. So it is a combination of knowing that our time as Latinos has arrived and that you have a role to play and that you have to be proud to be Latino, and just make sure that you take someone with you. And I think that because you're such a powerful voice and you have this incredible network, I want to make sure that we also say to the young people, ask for things. Just don't be afraid to ask. For me, for example, it's like follow us in A La Latina, listen to the podcast, follow me on social media so that we can start growing our relevance. When we are able to specify and to articulate what we want people to say or think or do, the easier it is to get it done. So one, follow us on A La Latina and at Hispanic Star and all social medias with social media with Claudia Romo Edelman. And two, don't be afraid to ask.
Don't be afraid to ask. That's amazing. Claudia, as you know, this is a short cast and we want to keep that way because we are making an impact for that younger generation. I am truly honored. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the Brillantes Awards tonight. You are phenomenal and we all love you and admire you. So having you on VOCES Poderosas is truly an honor. Gracias, Claudia.
Thank you so much. Thank you.